The entertainment world is no stranger to drama, especially in the reality TV sphere. But what just went down with Kirk Frost and Mendeecees has taken things to an entire new level. The chaos, the backstabbing, and now a deadly brawl. This situation is no longer just another reality TV feud. This has escalated beyond anything anyone could have imagined, and now we're left wondering just how much darker this can get. Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris have been no strangers to drama in the past. Both have had their share of public scandals, controversies, and betrayals. But what just unfolded was not only shocking, but dangerous. We thought we had seen it all. We've witnessed verbal sparring, social media beefs, and even awkward confrontations. But this was a whole different level. The streets are buzzing, the blogs are in a frenzy, and every detail that comes to light just seems to make this whole thing more unbelievable. And the crazy part? We're just getting started. This fight between Kirk Frost and Mendeecees didn't begin overnight. In fact, what seemed like a simple business disagreement or a minor misunderstanding has now evolved into something much bigger. This isn't just a case of hurt feelings or insults thrown across the table. No, this is about egos, money, and pride. And when those things are at stake, people are capable of going to extreme lengths to protect their interests. Let's rewind a little. Mendeecees has had his own set of challenges. From court cases to his tumultuous relationship with Yandy Smith, his life has been anything but simple. But now, it seems like things are about to get even messier. This time, Mendeecees wasn't just dealing with typical TV drama. No, this time, he was facing a threat much more serious. And it seemed like the person behind it all was none other than Kirk Frost. Kirk Frost, to many, is known as a father, a businessman, and a calm, collected figure in the hip-hop world. However, behind the facade of cool lies a much darker side. From his involvement in infidelity scandals to shady business dealings, there have always been whispers about Kirk's reputation. But what the public didn't know was how far he would go when his back was against the wall. The tension between Kirk and Mendeecees had been brewing for months, and according to sources, it all started with a financial dispute. But what started as a small disagreement about money quickly escalated into something far more dangerous. It was no longer about money. It was about power, control, and, most importantly, survival. Rumors began swirling that Kirk had been secretly plotting to take Mendeecees out. While some dismissed these rumors as gossip, others started paying attention. There were whispers of a well-coordinated attack, an ambush, designed to take Mendeecees out once and for all, and while it might sound like something out of a mob movie, the situation was becoming eerily believable. Now, it's easy to dismiss the idea of Kirk being involved in something this extreme. After all, he's always been portrayed as the cool guy in the public eye, someone who seems to have it all together. But as we all know, appearances can be deceiving. When you're dealing with people who have everything to lose, the stakes are high. And when those people are pushed to the brink, they'll do anything to protect what's theirs. Enter Mendeecees, who, with his instincts, sensed that something wasn't right. It's not like he was blind to the tension between him and the footage went viral almost immediately. People were left stunned by what they saw. Why had these masked men attacked Mendeecees? And more importantly, why did it seem like they were tied to someone powerful? There were whispers on the streets, and the name that kept popping up in every conversation was Kirk Frost. Some people were calling it a mafia-level setup. Was this really a calculated move by Kirk to get rid of Mendeecees once and for all? Mendeecees wasn't one to stay quiet, though. The next day, he took matters into his own hands and went straight to the authorities. He didn't hold back. He had the receipts, the video, the names, and even a list of potential witnesses who could back up his claims. He made everything public. This wasn't just another case of industry beef that would fade away. No, this was something much bigger. And Kirk, for once, was caught off guard. The moment Mendeecees made everything public, the floodgates opened. The internet was flooded with discussions, theories, and accusations. People started digging deeper into Kirk's past, uncovering skeletons that had been buried for years. It wasn't just about the attack anymore. It was about what had been, hidden beneath the surface for so long. The more people looked into Kirk's history, the worse it seemed to get. Kirk Frost, who had built his reputation on being a business-savvy, cool-headed guy, now found himself in the middle of a full-blown crisis. And what did he do? Instead of staying quiet and letting his lawyers handle things, Kirk decided to take to social media. That's right. He went live on Instagram. The man, under the weight of legal troubles, chose to go live and try to clear his name. And to be honest, it was a train wreck. Kirk appeared anxious and stressed, claiming that he had nothing to do with the attack. "I don't know where this is coming from," he said. "They're trying to paint me as something I'm not." But here's the issue. He never truly refuted the accusations. He never gave a direct answer to the burning question of whether he was involved in the attack or not. Instead, he danced around it, blaming the blogs and the haters who were twisting the truth. Fans weren't buying it. The comments were flooded with questions and skepticism. People wanted answers, and Kirk wasn't providing them. But the real bombshell came when his own wife, Rashida, stepped into the conversation. Yes, you heard that right. Rashida, who had been relatively silent up until that point, dropped a bombshell in the comments section of Kirk's Instagram Live. "I warned you that this would catch up with you," she wrote. The world watched in shock as Kirk's wife seemingly threw him under the bus. This wasn't just a personal betrayal. This was a public declaration that Kirk had messed up, and Rashida wasn't going to stick by him. And just when things couldn't get any worse, more shocking footage emerged. A crystal-clear video surfaced showing Kirk meeting with one of the masked men who had attacked Mendeecees. The video was released at the worst possible moment for Kirk. It showed him sitting at a table with the same person who had been involved in the ambush just days before. And to make matters worse, the video didn't just show casual conversation, it looked like a heated discussion, one that could have been about anything but good intentions. The pressure was mounting for Kirk. The more this investigation unfolded, the more the authorities began digging into his past. The feds got involved, and that's when things really started to unravel. Financial records were pulled, and it became clear that Kirk had been living a double life. It wasn't just about the attack, it was about a much bigger web of lies, shady business dealings, and possible criminal activity. Investigators found a secret bank account, offshore accounts, and a series of unusual wire transactions. And the biggest question of all, why was Kirk paying off men tied to criminal activity? At this point, the federal investigation was in full swing, and things were looking grim for Kirk. The reality was sinking in. His reputation was shattered, his career was on the line, and the people around him were abandoning him left and right. It was clear that the investigation was only going to get deeper, and the charges against him were serious: conspiracy, wire fraud, money laundering, and links to organized crime. Kirk, Mendeecees had a gut feeling that something was about to go down, and he wasn't going to sit back and let it happen. Instead of waiting for the inevitable to unfold, Mendeecees took matters into his own hands. He decided to act. The night of Duns. The alleged attack was supposed to be just like any other for Mendeecees. He was out, living his life, not suspecting that his every move was being watched. But that night, something felt off. He started noticing the same car following him, and people in the crowd seemed far too familiar. That's when it clicked. His instincts kicked in, and he knew something was wrong. But before he could react, the attack came. Mendeecees was ambushed by masked men. It was a chaotic scene. People were yelling, fists were flying, and everything went into complete disarray. The attackers didn't count on one thing. Mendeecees had his security detail with him. What followed was a fierce brawl, one that saw punches being thrown, a weapon drawn, and chaos everywhere, and the entire thing was caught on camera. As the investigation continued, it became more apparent that Mendeecees had outsmarted Kirk at every turn. While Kirk was scrambling to explain himself, Mendeecees had already won. He had played the game well, and now he was reaping the rewards. Kirk, on the other hand, was left facing the consequences of his actions, consequences that might just destroy everything he had worked for. And as for Rashida, well, it looks like she's preparing to move on. She's already distancing herself from Kirk, both in public and behind the scenes. The drama isn't over. But one thing is certain. Kirk Frost's time in the spotlight has come to an end. The feds are closing in, his business dealings are under scrutiny, and his personal life is in complete chaos. What's next for him? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, he won't be the same after this. As the investigation continues to unfold, Kirk's world seems to be falling apart. The damage to his career, reputation, and personal life is undeniable, and it's hard to imagine how he could recover from such a public downfall. His desperate attempts to clear his name and shift the blame onto others have only deepened the suspicions surrounding his actions. Meanwhile, Mendeecees, who once appeared to be a victim in this drama, is now being hailed as the one who saw through Kirk's games and exposed him for what he truly is. The most telling part of this entire ordeal is the way the truth has come to light. The evidence against Kirk is overwhelming. The footage, the documents, and the numerous leaks have painted a picture that is far darker than anyone anticipated. What started as a personal dispute has spiraled into a web of criminal activity, betrayal, and deceit. Kirk's involvement in illegal financial dealings, his ties to shady figures, and his willingness to go to extreme lengths to protect his empire have all been exposed. And now, with the full weight of the law coming down on him, it's clear that his days of playing the game are over. The federal investigation has uncovered evidence that goes beyond just the attack on Mendeecees. Kirk's secret bank accounts, wire fraud, and offshore transactions all point to a much larger operation. It's becoming more apparent that Kirk wasn't just involved in a one-off scandal, he was part of a much bigger network of criminal activity. This revelation has made it clear that Mendeecees wasn't just a casualty in a business dispute, he was a pawn in a much larger game. And now that Kirk's role in all of this is being exposed, the question on everyone's mind is, how deep does this go? It's not just the financial crimes that are getting attention. The attack on Mendeecees, which initially seemed like a random altercation, has now been linked directly to Kirk. The new video showing Kirk meeting with one of the attackers before the ambush only adds to the growing evidence. It's clear that this wasn't just a simple business deal gone wrong. It was a calculated move to eliminate Mendeecees. And now, with the authorities closing in, Kirk has nowhere to hide. As for Rashida, the situation has become even more complicated. Her role in this drama has shifted from that of the supportive wife to a woman who is now facing the fallout of Kirk's actions. While she initially appeared to stand by her husband, the more the investigation has progressed, the more she's distanced herself from him. Her public silence, followed by her cryptic comments on Instagram, have made it clear that she's no longer willing to be the ride-or-die wife that fans once thought she was. Instead, she's preparing to protect herself, and it's becoming increasingly likely that she will cut ties with Kirk for good. The most shocking part of Rashida's involvement, however, came when she made her own statement about the situation. During a live interview, Rashida publicly confirmed what many had suspected. She had known about Kirk's betrayal long before the public was made aware. She admitted that she had found out months ago about Kirk's involvement with the woman who was now at the center of this drama. But what really struck a chord with fans was her statement that he didn't even fight for this marriage, Rashida's. Honesty was both powerful and heartbreaking. It was clear that she had been through a lot and had finally reached her breaking point. She had put up with Kirk's infidelities, lies, and disrespect for years, but now she was done. She wasn't going to sit back and pretend like everything was okay anymore. Her revelation about knowing about the affair before it went public made it clear that this wasn't just about one betrayal, it was about a long history of deceit and emotional pain. And now that she had publicly addressed it, she was ready to move on. But just as Rashida's revelation sent shockwaves through the internet, Kirk was doing everything in his power to spin the narrative. His attempt to defend himself on social media backfired spectacularly. Instead of clearing his name, his anxious, rambling Instagram Live only made things worse. Fans saw right through his excuses and were quick to call him out for not addressing the core issue. His inability to give a straightforward answer to the serious accusations only heightened the suspicion. People were beginning to realize that Kirk wasn't just caught up in a scandal, he was actively trying to cover up his involvement in a much bigger mess. Kirk's attempt to play the victim only went further downhill when Rashida chimed in. Her comment in the live session, "I warned you that this would catch up with you," was a devastating blow. It wasn't just a wife expressing disappointment, it was a statement from someone who had finally had enough. Rashida's words made it clear that she was no longer willing to stand by Kirk's side. Her support for him had vanished, and the internet was buzzing with theories about what that meant for their future. As Kirk's world continues to crumble, it's becoming evident that he may have underestimated the magnitude of the situation. The more the investigation progresses, the more layers of Kirk's questionable behavior are being exposed. And with Mendeecees playing a key role in bringing these secrets to light, it's safe to say that Kirk's days of being the cool-headed businessman are numbered. In the coming days, Kirk will have to face the consequences of his actions. The pressure from the media, the public, and most importantly, the authorities is mounting. His past actions, both personal and professional, have finally caught up with him, and there's no escape from the truth. As the investigation continues and more evidence surfaces, it seems like this story is far from over. Meanwhile, Mendeecees, who initially seemed like the underdog in this conflict, is emerging as the victor. His ability to stay calm and collected in the face of adversity has paid off. By exposing the truth and standing up for himself, Mendeecees has not only protected his own reputation, but has also put Kirk on the defensive. It's clear that Mendeecees isn't done yet, and he's ready to see this through to the end. The real question now is, what's next for Rashida? Will she stand by Kirk, despite everything that has happened, or will she continue to distance herself from him, protecting her own future and moving forward with her life? It's clear that the drama surrounding Kirk and Rashida is far from finished, and fans are eagerly waiting to see how it all unfolds. Kirk Frost's attempt to manipulate the situation and control the narrative has backfired spectacularly. As the truth comes to light and the investigation continues, it seems that Kirk's world is falling apart. The legal trouble, the public backlash, and the mounting pressure from all sides are making it clear that he's not going to walk away from this unscathed. Mendeecees, on the other hand, has emerged victorious. He has played the game better and now has the upper hand. As this chaotic saga continues to unfold, it's anyone's guess how it will all end. Will Kirk's career be ruined forever, or will he manage to turn things around? Will Rashida stand by him, or is this the end of their marriage? And most importantly, will justice be served, or will this entire situation be swept under the rug? One thing is for sure. The drama between Kirk and Mendeecees isn't over, and there's still much more to be revealed. Stay tuned, because this is only the beginning of what's sure to be a wild ride.